This segment of the Next Gen Patriots podcast is sponsored in support of the West Virginia Tobacco Quit Line. If you or someone you love is ready to quit tobacco, you're just one phone call away. Trained coaches are available to provide guidance, resources, and support every step of the way. Call 1-800-QUIT-NOW for free coaching, helpful resources, and encouragement to help you break free from tobacco. That's 1-800-QUIT-NOW to take the first step towards a healthier future. Miss Anderson, it's a pleasure to have you on the podcast today. And I first off want to say thank you for joining us. You have been amongst the select few that have got to join us, and I appreciate you taking the time. So
thank you for asking.
No problem, no problem. So let's dive on into this. We've got some interesting topics to talk about today, and so I kind of want to make this direct and to the point. So kind of give us a little bit of your back history. What are some of your interests and hobbies that you do every day, or things that you find fun?
Well, I like to read.
Okay.
I like CNN pretty good.
Okay.
I like to keep up on what's going on in the world, so I do that. But as far as hobbies are concerned, I'm involved with our high school reunion, which has been a part of me for some 56 years, and on a daily basis, I'm involved with that because we plan a reunion every year from year to year, of which we're planning our 56th one for July.
Wow.
And so I'm busy with that.
Yeah.
So that takes up the biggest portion of my day.
Mm-hmm.
I have some exercises that I do on a daily basis, and that's basically for health reasons.
Okay.
And I like to cook.
Okay.
So I cook something every day, and talk on the phone, and that's about it. Just the general stuff.
Yeah.
And then I need to leave home every day, so I go somewhere every day to make sure that I stay busy out in what's going on around me.
Yeah.
So I go somewhere if it's nowhere but to Welch or to Goodson's, up to the post office. I do something every day.
Yeah. You got to always clear your mind.
Clear your mind.
Yes.
I have to get up every day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's awesome. So everybody kind of has an introduction. And so I kind of want to go a little bit through your career a little bit.
Okay.
So what year did you graduate high school, and where did you graduate high school?
I graduated Gary District High School in 1962.
Okay.
And had a great time in high school. And after that, I got married and had children, and my husband went in the Army, and I worked some amazing jobs. My first job was at Grace Hospital in Welch.
Okay.
That no longer exists. And then I worked from there to, we had a little sewing factory in Kimball, and I worked there for a few years while he was in the service. And when he came home, we went to West Virginia University. In 1967, we both went to West Virginia University. It was a struggle. It wasn't easy because integration was just starting at that time.
Mm-hmm.
And West Virginia University was, quote unquote, the white school.
Mm-hmm.
And it was a difficult task, but we made it when we took the college entrance exam. We scored quite well on the test, and we were accepted there, and that's where we went to, was up to Morgantown.
Okay. So you graduated from WVU in 1975.
Yes.
So then after that, you said you got your bachelor's in education. So then you started at Tidewater Elementary School. So walk us through that.
Well, what happened was I I actually, when we left, when we were leaving Morgantown to move to Welch, my husband was coming down to work with Lawyer Cunningham and at the prosecutor's office, and the Board of Education had a lawsuit for a special education case, and they needed to have somebody that was certified in special education, and special education at that time was brand new. It was new because the federal law 94-142 was a new law that said that all children had to be educated, which included the special needs kids. And I had a degree in special ed that encompassed all of everything that was qualified to teach special ed, because there were different segments of it. There was physically handicapped. They had the mentally impaired of different sizes and segments. And I had certifications in all areas. So I was asked to come to the Board of Education to speak with the superintendent of schools, who was John Drosick, was the superintendent of schools at that time, about taking the position at Tidewater Elementary as the teacher. And I went down and talked with him, and I asked him a sort of off-track question. I asked him to look at my face, and he didn't quite understand, and he said, "What do you mean?" I asked him to take a look at my face to see if there was a muffle on my mouth. And he said, "No, there's no muffle on your mouth," and he was still confused about what I meant. I said, "Well, Mr. Drosick, if I take this job, I don't want you to expect me to keep my mouth shut on nothing," because I meant that.
Yeah.
I wanted to have the freedom to say and do all the things that I needed to do to keep myself and the children that I taught safe.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I didn't want to be caught into a situation where the children could be cheated out of anything, because I knew that I was getting ready to take on a new task with working with special needs kids. And having the education that I had got from West Virginia University let me know that we really had to be on our P's and Q's to see to it that these children were taken care of, because we were parents ad litem. And we had to be a direct advocate for these children. And I wanted him to understand that by not having a muffle on my mouth, I would be just that.
Yeah.
And that's how I got my job with the McDowell County Board of Education.
Wow, that's awesome. So how long did you teach then? How many years did you teach in all?
Altogether, I taught about 39 years.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. So how long did you stay at Tidewater? Did you eventually move on?
I stayed at Tidewater about 13 years. Tidewater was the black school in the neighborhood. Kimball Elementary School was downtown Kimball. But this Board of Education decided to consolidate Tidewater along with Kimball Elementary School, because these federal laws coming along let the boards of education know they could no longer isolate the children, that they needed to be incorporated in the regular school with the regular kids.
Wow.
And the only way they could do that was to combine Tidewater and Kimball together. And so they combined Tidewater and Kimball Elementary. Rather than maintaining the name Tidewater, even though the school was placed at the Tidewater site, they decided to make it Kimball Elementary.
Wow.
And so I went from Tidewater Elementary to Kimball Elementary and worked there about 13 years.
Wow, that's awesome. So then what did you do after that?
After that, there again, the Board of Education had to...
That's okay.
They had to do something with the children.
Okay.
So they had developed a program where they would move the kids to the McDowell County Vocational School, and they had to be involved with vocational education. So the only way they could achieve that was to put this program from Tidewater or from Kimball Elementary to the McDowell County Vocational School.
Okay.
Though it was not part of the vocational educational program, we had to develop our own program where we taught the kids how to do independent living. And on teaching the kids independent living, that meant we had to develop a classroom that looked just like a house. So we had to bring the kids from Kimball Elementary to the vocational school in this classroom that looked like a house. We had to train the children how to do everything as in a house, how to make a bed, how to wash, how to fold, how to do some light cooking and everything.
Wow.
And we did that at the vocational school. Now, while at the vocational school, we collaborated with the little motel that's out there beside of the vocational school.
Okay.
To take our children there to have some direct learning. So we would train them in the classroom, take them there to the Count Galoo Motel, and they would work there for a small amount. And we worked with them and trained them how to change the beds and work the maid services at the motel. That was along with independent living, the independent living skills, which really made a difference with the kids. We also collaborated with Goodson's.
Okay.
And the children went from the school to Goodson's, and they would do some stocking in the
shelves?
in the store.
Oh, wow.
In the shelves. But for some reason or the other, it didn't carry over after we left there.
Yeah.
And
do you think it was funding?
Well, I don't know if it was funding or the real direct line of collaboration. You needed to have some sort of relationship with those organizations to maintain that. They didn't maintain that relationship with those two businesses to maintain that. So that's what we did there at the McDowell County Vocational. Now, the vocational school didn't have a lunch program. So that meant that for a short while, the lunches were transported from Mount View to the vocational school.
Oh, my.
Well, then somebody started looking at it and found that the kids needed to be transported from the vocational school to Mount View for lunch. So we went from the vocational school to Mount View for lunch, which made no sense to us. So there again, the Board of Education got on board and started looking at some other ideas, because as you would get new directors in these programs, they would always come up with other bright ideas. But what happened was they didn't incorporate their teachers with them to really get a full idea of what to do. They would just make the plans and let us know that this is what we were doing. And there again, that's what happened with me leaving the vocational school. We stayed down there, I'm thinking about 8 years.
Wow.
We left there and we transferred to Mount View High School.
Wow.
When they transferred us to Mount View High School, they needed to be with that to integrate the kids with the other classrooms. So we did that. There again, these are all unilaterally transfers that we got over the years, but we went along with it because we were taking the children with us.
Yeah.
Along with us. And while we were at the vocational school, I planned my own graduation where my kids would have a graduation just like everybody else.
Yeah.
And we did it there at the vocational school. We'd have a full graduation, we'd have a reception, and all of that afterwards. But after a while, that played out as well.
Yeah.
And then we stayed at Mount View High School until I retired.
Wow.
But we did there again. We had the independent living program, and the same program is still there at Mount View, with the stove and the refrigerator and all of that stuff that goes along with it. And I don't know whether they're still going to keep it, but they need to.
Yeah.
For
Yeah.
the kids.
That's
yeah.
amazing. I never did ever hear of that program,
Yeah.
but that's really neat.
And we had a 95% graduation rate.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's amazing. Yeah.
They graduated from high school with the diplomas.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah.
So moving on here, so then you from 2000 to 2005, you was part of the Children's Home Society with specifically the Paul Miller Shelter. So what did you do there? What did that kind of entail?
Well, when I worked at the Paul Miller Shelter, I was also teaching.
Okay, yeah.
I went to work in the morning and worked all day. And when I got off from work, I went from work to the Paul Miller home. And I was the shift supervisor. That meant that I prepared the shifts for the workers that were there. The capacity of kids at the shelter was 10. So we normally had 10 kids that were there with us. In that, you made sure that your shift was run well, you were well staffed, all of the business was taken care of, and I cooked as well sometimes for the kids. And we did homework with the children. We did everything that you would do at home, because these are homeless kids for the state of West Virginia, because West Virginia has a high rate of homeless children, which we don't talk about a lot of times. And the youngest that we had, I think, was about 7, and they would stay there until they were 18.
Okay.
And they all went to school. But we did all the things that you would do as a parent.
Wow.
I would work from 4 o'clock to 12 o'clock every night, Sunday through Thursday.
Wow.
Yeah.
You had a packed schedule.
I did, and I went back on Saturday, and then I'd work Saturday morning to 4 o'clock on Saturday evening. Sunday evening, I went back at 4 o'clock and worked from 4 to 12. So I had a packed schedule, but it was a wonderful life, though.
Yeah.
Because you do not realize that children without their parents are broken kids. They need a lot of stuff. They need a lot of attention. They need to know that somebody considers those children as something more than a child at a homeless shelter.
Yeah.
They don't need to feel like they're homeless. They need to feel like that they have a home to come to. They have a hot meal. They have somebody that's going to let them know that they love them and all of that. So, and we took the kids on trips. There was somebody there that took them, they got breakfast every morning before they left. Somebody took them to the bus, and they went to school. Somebody met the bus every evening. They came home, they did their homeworks, and they were fed dinner and snacks just like everybody else does at the Miller Shelter. It was a great experience. It was a wonderful
I'm sure it
experience.
was. And I mean, wow, that's a pretty packed schedule, but you was enjoying it in the process.
I was.
So moving on here, so you're currently in 2021, you started as the recorder for the city of Kimball, and then right now, as starting in 2025, you're the current president of the McDowell County Commission on Aging. So you're still pretty active within the community, which is great. Still at any age, you're a representation of that. Any age, you can be part of the community.
Right.
And we appreciate your service.
Thanks.
So kind of moving into some of these segments here, you kind of hit on this a little bit, but I really feel that this is really important to discuss in this episode specifically. And so I kind of have some questions I kind of want to deep dive in here with you. How did segregation in Appalachia differ from segregation then in the Deep South, as most people know of?
Well, I grew up in Gary, West Virginia, who actually was U.S. Steel.
Mm-hmm.
U.S. Steel in during my time was the most coal producing place in the whole world. U.S. Steel produced more coal than anybody. So when we talk today about the energy in the world, we were the energy producers in Gary, West Virginia.
Mm-hmm.
We had everything that you could imagine. We had it.
Mm-hmm.
We had housing that belonged to U.S. Steel. We lived in the community with everybody. The people that U.S. Steel, the owners of U.S. Steel, they had a mindset of keeping their workers intact. So they put the workers intact, so that the men that they had working for them would be willing to stay there and work, produce that coal that they needed produced. They knew exactly what they were doing. It was all planned. Everything was planned, well planned. We were in the community with a variety of people. We were in communities with white people, with Hungarians, with Mexicans, with the Italian. We all lived in a community together. We didn't go to school together or to church together, but we socialized with each other. We played together.
Yeah.
We knew that they had their school to go to, and we had our school to go to because we were happy. We were well taught. We had some of the finest teachers you'd ever meet. All of our teachers had master's degrees. All of the black teachers, they all had master's degrees. So we got a fine education as far as education goes. We didn't miss anything, nothing at all. And so living with segregation in the South, they were segregated according to maybe a cultural thing or what nationality they were. We didn't have that kind of segregation. We were segregated. We lived in areas, even in our community. We knew that the people that lived on my street would come from a specific place in North Carolina so that we could all stay together. So there was not that kind of segregation. So we didn't understand that.
Yeah.
Because we didn't have that kind of problem. We didn't have racial problems. We all went to the same store. We all shopped at the company store. Our fathers worked in the same mines. Our fathers made the same money. Our mothers didn't work. Our parents, we grew up with the same kinds of things that everybody else had. So we were not faced with segregation as they knew it in the South.
Yeah.
And I didn't really face real segregation until I went to Morgantown.
Yeah. One thing I want to go back to real quick. So what was the reasoning for the separation within schools? Was it a cultural type thing or something required like through the state or?
It was through the state. I'm sure it was state.
Yeah.
Because it was just totally segregated all over the United States then.
Okay.
Segregation existed.
Okay.
And black and white kids didn't go to school.
Yeah. Okay.
I mean, it just didn't happen.
Yeah.
And but we were not bothered by that because we were well educated. We had, like I say, the finest teachers. Our teachers were all educated. we were taught the best of everything. We were taught the best manners, you know. We were taught how to cook. We could wear nice clothes from the company store just like everybody else.
Mm-hmm.
So we were not confronted. We
Yeah.
weren't bothered by that, you know.
So I want to go back then. So talk a little bit about then what segregation was like once you got to Morgantown. What kind of things did you have to face?
Well, when we got to Morgantown, we couldn't live in. My husband and I couldn't. They wouldn't let us. They wouldn't give us married housing.
Really?
No, they referred us to live with a lady. They referred us to live with somebody else, and we had to stay there until we just got to the point where we just decided that we were going to raise some cane in Morgantown, and they were going to have to put us in the housing just like everybody else.
Yeah.
Because it really wasn't a lot of us at West Virginia University at that time. We had some ball players that were there, but as far as the regular students, we didn't have a lot of regular students, and they put us all in the same dormitory, you know, and it was different,
Yeah.
you know, because I was thinking that, you know, we could go there and get a place just like everybody else. But that wasn't so.
Yeah.
You know, that wasn't so. So segregation really was segregation.
Yeah.
But when I grew up, we didn't have just what you call real segregation, you know.
Yeah. Yeah.
We had, just didn't have it.
Yeah.
You know.
So moving on, so how did segregation then, kind of moving more into your future of your life, affect job opportunities, specifically like in the coal mining and local industries here?
Well, the coal mining, it didn't affect at all. The U.S. Steel knew what they needed. And the black men worked just like the white men did. They worked in these jobs. They worked in the tipple. They worked. They worked with safety and all of that. They were involved in all of that. That with U.S. Steel. There again, U.S. Steel had a plan in place. Their plan was to get that coal produced, and this is what they had available to them. They had black men, white men, Mexicans, Italians, everybody. So everybody worked.
Yeah.
Our fathers worked.
Yeah.
They worked.
What was it like in the other local industries, like the grocery stores or the bank?
And there again, everything in our area here was built around the coal industry. The coal industry here was to produce coal. These coal producers saw to it that black folk had available to them everything that made them happy, so they'd stay here.
Yeah.
Because they understood that if you were here, and I don't care what color you were, if you weren't able to do something to care for your family, you weren't staying. So they needed us to stay.
Yeah.
Our fathers to stay. So they did what was necessary to keep us here. And that meant that the stores, they hired black folk. They didn't do it in an abundance, but they did it. They, at the company store, our driver was a black guy. He delivered all of our groceries,
Okay.
you know. So we saw our own people working in all of the industries here. We were, the job opportunities were okay with us here.
Yeah.
We had a good political base.
Okay.
We were involved deeply with politics. Our fathers and mothers were involved with that. Our organizations were strong. And so we kept all of that going here in McDowell County.
Yeah.
McDowell County for us, that we probably had more black folk in the McDowell County than we did anywhere in the state of West Virginia.
Wow.
So we were visible. We were visible. We were focused, and we were involved in
Yeah.
everything that went on in here. Yeah.
So to kind of take a little bit of a turn here. So, what was segregation like? Obviously in Appalachian schools, but you've talked about WVU a little bit. But what about high school? Was it you talked about how you guys went to your separate schools, but outside of that, it wasn't much different.
No.
You guys were just friends, just like
We
anybody
were
else.
friends.
Yeah.
We played our ball, basketball and football, and we were the best at it. We knew that we were, and we didn't have any problems in doing what we needed to do. And we went to segregated high schools. We liked each other. We enjoyed ourselves with each other.
Yeah.
With the school. The only thing, like with our books in McDowell County, we had to get the used books that the white schools got. They would get new books and we would get the old ones. But it mattered not.
Yeah.
Because it wasn't what we got with the books, it was what was in those books. We had the best teachers, so they taught us well.
That's a valuable lesson right there. It's not always what's about the book.
It wasn't about the book.
Yeah.
It was what we were taught from the book.
Yeah.
And we got everything. Even when we would, when we got to be seniors, we had to take the the federal test to get federal jobs.
Wow.
We passed them.
Wow.
We had folk that did some of everything. They worked for the FBI from here in West Virginia.
Wow.
Most of our people that graduated high school, when they went to Washington, D.C., they all retired from the federal government in high-paying jobs.
Wow.
Even down to one of them that was placed director of GSA with Ronald Reagan. So
wow.
We didn't miss anything.
Yeah, that's awesome.
And then our fathers went to Detroit and worked in the auto industry. They all graduated. They all retired from Chrysler and Ford and General Motors. And this came right out of Gary, West Virginia. So we're products of good stuff.
Yeah, you guys are. Yeah,
we are.
Yeah. So why do you think? So why is the history of Black Appalachians often overlooked in the mainstream education nowadays? Because there's, as you just said, there's a lot of people that have come from this area that a lot of people don't know about.
Well, what has happened is the politics have changed. Most of this stuff is all political. The politics of things have changed. Because if you go back and look at politics from years ago, when you had guys like Ernest Moore that was in the Senate in down Charleston, and Cliff Moore that worked in Charleston, and all of that, we had representation. Where the times have changed and the mindset of some of the people that are involved with politics now has changed. Therefore, it's swayed what has happened with us now. We probably see more racism now than we ever saw before. We never had to be bothered with that. And it's just a mindset of where we are. And I honestly believe it's just a sign of the times.
Yeah.
And that's the only way you can look at it.
Yeah.
Because it is what it is. And we have to accept it the way it is. We might not like it, but we have to accept it the way it is. And like now in the school system, if there's a black teacher retires, they're never replaced. We have a lower percentage of black people working in the school system now than we've ever had before.
Yeah.
So we have that problem.
Yeah.
Or that's working at the Board of Education for that matter. You don't have any.
Yeah.
Where we had supervisors that were working in the school system, you don't have that anymore. And then, but it's all of that stuff now is politically based.
Yeah.
Politics has changed the mind of a lot of things. And it has changed the minds of a lot of people.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's all politically based as far as I'm concerned.
What was the most important lessons that you think from the civil rights movement that still should be focused on today the most?
From civil rights, I think they need to stay with, because everything is built around education.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that we need to stay more educationally focused on what's going on with education, especially with the HBCU educational systems, you know. And we need to keep our eyes on what's going on with that more than anything else. But there again, we still need to get to the point where we can treat each other like we like to be treated, you know. And if we can learn to do that, because that was one of Martin Luther King's favorite things, is to do unto others as you have them do unto you. And if we can live with that and keep our focus on that, then we'll be okay as far as civil rights. And there again, we still need to focus on the civil rights of each other. And what we have forgotten is what that means. The civil rights of each other. Because I have the same right as you do. And we need to focus on that.
Yeah. Yeah.
And just simple as that.
Yeah. I think a lot of times, well, it is a lot of times. It happens all the time. It's blown out of proportion.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
They forget the civil part of it.
Right.
Yeah.
They forget the civil part.
Either side.
That's right.
It don't matter who it is.
Whatever side, we forget. We forget that. Yeah.
Yeah, I fully agree. So I kind of wanted to go back a little bit into your story. So you have 2 kids.
Three.
Three?
I have
Okay.
3 children.
3.
I have a daughter.
Okay.
Because when we did the thing on Facebook, my daughter called me. She said, "Mama, did you forget that you have a daughter?" I said, "I didn't write it. No, I have 3 kids.
Okay.
I have 2 sons and my daughter."
Okay,
Yeah.
so 3 kids.
Yeah.
But you said you raised 10. So
Yes.
walk us through that story a little bit, how that all came about.
Well, I had my daughter and my 2 boys. Of course, Floyd is a public defender. Eric is a teacher. He's had a stroke, so he had to kind of sit down a little bit. And my daughter is a nurse.
Okay.
And she works up in Maryland, in Virginia, and she's a traveling nurse. And she used to work at the Pavilion here in Bluefield.
Okay.
And but I had some grandchildren that I watched, and I took care of, and 2 other little girls that were friends. Their mothers were friends to my children, and then I got 2 little African kids, and I got the little African kids in the strangest kind of way. My granddaughter's name is Kamara, and I went to the pharmacy one day, and the pharmacist was there, and he was an African pharmacist with Rite Aid. And he asked me, he said, "Who is Miss Anderson?" And I said, "I am." He said, "Well, I see that you have a child named Kamara." I said, "That's her name." He asked me to take a seat. So I took a seat and sat there. And when everybody left, he came and sat down beside me, and he told me that God had sent me to him. And I said, "Why? You didn't say that." He said, "Because your granddaughter has the same name of a tribe in my town." I said, "Okay." I said, "Oh, really?" He said, "Yes." He said, "And I have a little daughter that somebody needs to watch her." I said, "Oh, okay." He said, "Would you watch her?" I said, "Sure, I will." He turned around and called this little girl by name, and she came from behind the thing in the pharmacy.
Wow.
And he set her between us, and he said, spoke to her in his language. He said she doesn't speak English. And he asked me, he said, well, I need you to take her home because his wife was in exile. They had left her out of this country because her visa wasn't right. And she couldn't come back to this country.
Oh, my.
And when they were coming home about 3 weeks before that from Africa, she had to go back to Africa, and he had to bring his daughter on with him. They wouldn't let her go back to Africa.
Oh, my.
So there he was stuck.
Yeah.
So I said, yeah, I'll keep her. He handed her to me along with a Kroger bag full of clothes.
Okay.
And I took her home with me. She was 5 years old. My granddaughter was 5. And the other little girl that I was watching was 5. They were all 5 years old.
Oh, my.
And I brought her in the house, and I told them, I said, she doesn't speak any English. But down the steps they went with this little girl, with Anta. They went down the steps with Anta. The next morning, I had to go to work.
Yeah.
And the other 2 girls were in kindergarten. And I'm assuming that she was going to be in kindergarten, too.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I took all 3 of them to work with me. But when she come out of the basement, she could say good morning. They taught her how to say good morning. So I took her and kept her that year. Along with her father, I had no clue where he lived, nothing. He didn't know nothing about me, and I ain't know nothing about him.
Did you ever see him after that much?
Yeah.
Yeah.
One day I went back to the pharmacy, and I told him where I lived, and he told me where he lived up in Junipoca. But I kept her at my house.
How did you work, like, with the language barrier? How did you work through that?
I don't know. The children did that.
Wow. That's amazing.
And she learned to speak English. But in their country, they are taught English from birth. That's their second language. They speak, but it's very broken language.
Yeah.
But from birth, they speak a little. So she had a little idea, you know.
Wow.
And we worked through that. And she went to school at Kimball Elementary with my kids. And she was the 9th one.
Okay.
And but I just kept moving.
Yeah.
You know, I didn't.
It didn't stop you.
I didn't stop. I mean, I just had the kids, and I was working and cooking, and the children were playing, and they were happy, and the community had lots of children to play in, and they played together, and then he went home for Christmas, and when he came back, he brought his son with him. He was a little boy. He brought him, and he dropped him off with me, and I kept him. So I kept the children until their mother could come, and it took about 7 years for her to come. Wow. They went to school here. They went to the high school at Mount View. They both graduated. My granddaughter graduated high school.
What did they end up doing as a career?
They went to West Virginia University. They did. My granddaughter went to West Virginia State.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow. That's awesome. Yeah. So they ended up having a successful career then. Wow.
They live in Atlanta.
Wow. That's awesome.
And I still see them, and I visited them. I went to Africa 9 years ago. I flew to Africa and visited in Gambia with the family, and we still talk. As a matter of fact, they used to live on Stewart Street.
Wow. And when you talk about their family, not them specifically, but their family from Africa? Okay. Wow, that's amazing. How long did the father, is he still alive or did he pass?
Yeah, he's still alive.
Wow.
No, he's still alive. He retired from Walgreens 3 years ago, I think. He stayed with Rite Aid, and then they switched over to Walgreens. Yeah. And then he got transferred out to Mullins.
Okay.
And he worked at Mullins, And his mother, his wife, she was a hairdresser up to the mall. Catherine was.
Yeah.
Yeah, and they were involved in the community and went to the Catholic Church and
Wow.
everything. So it was a whole nother lifestyle.
Wow. Yeah, I'm sure. Wow.
Yeah.
That's an amazing story.
Yeah.
And
And I took her because of my granddaughter's name.
Yeah.
And it was just,
That's something.
and it just happened.
Yeah.
And it worked out.
Yeah.
You know.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Especially what was the little boy, was he able to speak much English too, or is it about the same?
Not a lot. He was about the same.
Okay.
And my mother was living at that time.
Okay.
And my mother fell in love with him, and he fell in love with her, and he loved French fries. And she made French fries, and he learned to speak English, and they did well. But they did well in school, though.
Yeah.
They
I'm
did
sure.
well in school.
Yeah.
It took them a minute with their language, but after a
Right.
while they caught on, and they did well in school.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's an amazing story.
And that was the 10. And I still have kids that call me Mama.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's sweet.
Yeah.
So moving on to our next segment here. So I kind of wanted to talk a little bit about retirement, and not specifically retirement itself, but life after retirement. It's something that's not really talked a lot about or focused on, especially with youth in general. But I kind of wanted to focus a little bit more on your age range in this section. So what were some of the biggest fears or expectations going into retirement that you felt?
See, first of all, folk don't understand that retirement is not physical. It's not a physical act. Folk look at retirement as quitting a job or completing your employment age or your employment space. That's not what retirement is. Retirement is a mental situation because there are so many things that go along with you when you're working. You have a routine for getting up, for getting dressed, for eating your breakfast, for managing your day. That's what your employment day looks like. Now, when you, quote, retire, unquote, all of that stops, or at least it should.
Yeah.
Because it's been ingrained in you so long that it becomes who you are. You have to change the mindset of quitting a job needs to be done in stages where you gather yourself to be able to do these things. Because why do you need to get up at 5:30 in the morning when you're not going anywhere? You know?
Yeah. Yeah.
And so it's a mental thing where you have to mentally put yourself in a position where you go to sleep at a certain time and you can change all of that. That's a hard job.
Yeah.
Is
Yeah.
retirement. It has taken me the most of 7 or 8 years to retire because I didn't know how to stay in the bed. Or I'd get up and then I was fidgety
Yeah.
because I had nothing to do. But you have to learn to change your mindset on what it is that you need to do for yourself.
Yeah.
You need a plan in place as to what you're going to do. You need to have something else to replace that employment job that you had for doing nothing.
Yeah.
And doing nothing, it doesn't mean that you don't do anything. There's a vast difference between the two. When the folks say I have nothing to do. But you have to have something to do.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
And you have to replace it with that. So with me, I've had to find other things to do, involve myself in doing stuff, or find somebody to take them to the doctor, or you know, check on the neighbor, or have something to do within that day to make that day pass, rather than just stumbling around doing nothing.
Yeah.
because you got to have something to do.
Yeah.
You know.
Was there anything that you, though, as far as before you retired from education, was there anything, concerns, or did you have, what was your thoughts and feelings going into retirement?
But I thought when I retired that I was just going to go home and be just so happy that I didn't have to get up every morning to go to work.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I thought.
Mm-hmm.
Until the day school started without me. And the day school started without me was probably the hardest day that I've had, because it was like a piece of me had died.
Mm-hmm.
Because I wasn't going to be productive anymore.
Yeah.
Because my employment was my focus on life. And that had gone away with my retirement,
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah.
So I was lost.
Mm-hmm.
But with me, what happened with me, I retired. And my sister and I told her, I said, well, let's go to Florida and stay a week. So when school starts, I won't be there.
Mm-hmm.
Because I knew that I couldn't stand it.
Yeah.
Because the closer it got time to go to school, the more anxious I got. So we went to Florida. And while I was down there, Barbara, I can't remember her, the lady that was over personnel, she called me in Florida. And she said, Vivian, where are you? I said, I'm in Florida with my sister. She said, how soon can you get home? I said, what do you mean? She said, girl, we don't have anybody to fill your position. And we have to have somebody in that position. I said, what do you mean? She said, nobody applied for that job. So we don't have anybody. And you know that with the special needs kids, we have to have somebody in place.
Yeah.
And I told her, I said, well, she said, can you make it by tomorrow? And I said, well, yeah. I told my sister, tomorrow we're going home tonight. So we left Florida and came home. I came home, straight home, to go back to work so that I could go back to work. So I started subbing that same year. I started subbing.
Yeah.
In the same job that I had retired from.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And I worked on that same job from retirement for about 7 years.
Wow.
And I had to wean myself from the job
Yeah.
to the point that I knew that I could go home,
Yeah.
that I had to go home.
Yeah.
So it's a process. You just don't retire.
Yeah.
Retirement is not physical. It's a mental state that you have to go to.
So kind of you've already touched it some a little bit, but how do you stay mentally and physically and socially engaged as you age?
But I'm just busy with everything.
Yeah.
I'm involved with the Commission on Aging. I attend everything that's going on in the county. I'm involved with that. I'm involved with the town. I go to church and I'm involved with my church group. I have friends and we socialize with each other. We keep up with each other daily.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm involved with I have an outreach where I'm involved with the outreach. I'm involved with my Bible study. I'm involved with that. So it means that my studies are going to stay up.
Yeah.
So everything that's going on around me, I'm involved with.
Yeah.
I didn't turn my eyes blind to anything that goes on.
Mm-hmm.
And then one of the key things was getting involved here with the Commission on Aging. And I was involved with the Commission on Aging before Donald came,
Mm-hmm.
you know.
Mm-hmm.
We were involved with that to watch, to see through the things go on for our seniors here in McDowell County, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Because becoming a senior, you don't just wake up one day and say that you're a senior. You have to walk gracefully into that. And so we stay involved with that. So I'm just involved with everything that goes on.
Yeah.
And those people that are not involved with things, those are the ones that we miss a lot. But as we've grown here with the Commission on Aging, I've noticed that we take in more of the community because we do reach outside these four walls to see what's going on, so.
Yeah. How can seniors continue to feel valued and needed in their communities today still?
Well, we have to, things have to be put in front of them, the seniors. Seniors need to be made aware of what's going on. Unless we let them know or continue to make the seniors aware of what's going on, they won't know that. And we do a good job of that here, is to making seniors aware of things, just like the concert that we had on Friday night.
Yeah.
We did a networking where we let let somebody else know that what's going on, and we keep them engaged in stuff. It's a matter of just keeping the seniors engaged. If you don't keep them engaged, they won't be.
Yeah.
But it's a matter of just keeping them engaged,
Yeah.
just like your podcast. The community needs to be, they need to know that it's available and how to get it and how to be involved with it. Because if they don't, they won't.
Yeah.
They won't know.
Yep.
Now, for instance, like we have people in New York knows more about what's going on here with us than folk do here in McDowell County because they are more in tuned to Facebook and what's going on here.
Yeah.
So if we keep them engaged, they will be.
Yeah.
So it's up to us.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Even I really wanted to hit at this question because I see a lot that it seems like a lot of people once they age, they seem to lose their purpose. But even at an older age, how can you still feel a sense of purpose in your life?
There again is getting them engaging us, or keeping the seniors focused on things, or offering them things that are of interest to them. There's a lot of things that other seniors don't do, that they would do if they had an open door to it. But a lot of folk don't realize what it is that we have available to them because they've never been focused on that,
Yeah.
But we have a lot of, but there again, we're growing here at our center because the folk keep getting focused on what's going on here.
Yeah.
Our focus is the community. And the biggest portion of the people in McDowell County are seniors. You have a great population of seniors in our county,
Yeah.
And it's just, we have to find a way to keep them focused.
Yeah.
And to see to it that they're doing.
Yeah. So I have two ending questions for you. So what does leadership look like based on your life and your experiences that you've had? That's kind of a deep, broad question.
You have to be who you say you are. You have to really be who you say you are. And what you represent and what you show me is what I see you as. Now, if you are going to lead me, you have to show me steps of leadership. And that means that you have to walk such that I don't have a problem in following what you say that you're doing with me.
Mm-hmm.
The word leadership means a lot. That means that you're going to be in front.
Yeah.
And if you're going to be in front, then I have to look at your back.
Yeah.
Your back has to speak to my face.
Mm.
It has to speak to my face. So that means that you can't slump in your shoulders.
Yeah.
Your stride can't be selfish.
Mm-hmm.
And it can never be arrogant.
Yeah.
So in being a leader of anything, you have to wear a lot of hats.
Yeah.
And sometimes, you know, you don't really understand what people see when they're looking at you,
Mm-hmm.
or what your eyes are saying when I look at your face.
Yeah.
The other day this man spoke to me, and he said to me, "You don't know who I am." I had a clue who he was, but I wasn't sure. And I said to him, I said, "I don't." I said, "But I know who you are." I said, "But if you take your sunglasses off, I can tell you who you are." He said, "Well, why do you need me to take my sunglasses off?" Because my theory is the soul of a man lies in his eyes.
Mm-hmm. Mm.
And if you're going to lead me,
Yeah.
you can look at me.
Yeah. That's good.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's deep. But that's really good.
Yeah, you have
Wow.
to look at me.
Yeah. That's really good. So I have one last question for you as we wrap it up here. So in your own words, how would you define success in life?
Success is not who you are, what you do. Success is what somebody else says that you do.
Yeah.
You can't beat your own drum. Somebody else has to beat it for you. You have to have done something that somebody can say that you inspired them.
Mm-hmm.
Or gave them a reason for doing something.
Mm-hmm.
My mother was the most successful woman I know, because she opened doors that I thought were closed, and
Yeah.
she taught me stuff that nobody else could have taught me.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that we have a successful leader because you can almost see it's like a little fish working,
Mm-hmm.
you know,
Yeah.
from one thing to the next.
Yeah. Yeah.
And if I stretch my shoulder and say to you I'm successful, then I might not have done anything
Mm-hmm.
to make you feel successful.
Mm-hmm.
I have to make you feel successful for me to be successful.
Yeah.
I have to give something. You know, success is not, you don't earn that for yourself.
Yeah.
You have to give it to somebody else.
Yeah. That's good. That's a good moral to have, just in general.
Yeah, you have to give it to somebody else. You can't keep it. Now, if you keep it to yourself, you've not done much.
Yeah.
You know. But if you've reached back and got somebody,
Mm-hmm.
and if you've reached back and picked somebody up and stood them up,
Yeah. Yeah.
then and only then.
Yeah.
Because I believe that my life is based on not just my living.
Mm-hmm.
I live so that when time comes for me to get out of here, I can go in grand style.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I live for.
Mm-hmm.
I don't live for just,
Yeah.
I want to be able to get up out of here
Yeah.
and know that I left something back here
Yeah.
that somebody else can say, you know, she helped me do this, or she taught me how to bake a cake,
Yeah.
or she said a good word to me, you know,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. I like that perspective of success. Haven't heard it like that, but that was amazing.
That's the way I feel about
Yeah.
it. I look, you know, I have a lot of different things that I think about in life because it's so easy to be arrogant.
Yeah.
It's so easy to raise yourself above other things,
Yeah.
and then underneath there's nothing, you know.
Yeah.
It's easy to do that.
Yeah.
That's easy to do. But it's just, if you've not done something else,
Yeah. Yeah.
if you're not holding on to somebody else, you know, if you have somebody that's holding on to you,
Yeah.
you have a jewel.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I've had a great time with you this evening, and as we kind of wrap this up, it's been a pleasure to speak with you, and thanks for taking the time to talk with us. And we appreciate your endeavors to the community. It has not went unnoticed. We know here at the Commission on Aging, if it wasn't for you, there'd be a lot of things that wouldn't be in place. So we thank you for that. And as always, we hope you guys like, subscribe, and follow us. And until next time, we'll see you guys in the next one.